Political Buzz is your rapid-fire look at the best political topics of the day. 3 questions, smart answers. Playing today, Jason Johnson. He's an independent. He's a political science professor at Hiram College and chief political correspondent at Politic 365. Leaning to the right, CNN contributor Dana Loesch. Happy Friday to you both.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
You don't sound very excited about it. I am, however.
Happy Friday!
Okay, let's begin with 3 seconds that Mitt Romney wishes he could take back. Listen.
I like being able to fire people who provide services to me.
Romney says that's the gaffe that makes him want to be more careful about what he says. The late-night comedians aren't letting him forget it, though. Jay Leno milked it again last night.
Donald Trump says he would be Mitt Romney's perfect choice as a running mate. Hey, come on, they do have one thing in common. They're both famous saying you're fired a lot. They both tell people that.
So has that been the biggest gaffe of Romney's campaign season? Dana?
I don't think so. Well, in the conversation that he was having in that speech that Romney was giving, he was talking about the ability to be able to fire people who provide to you bad services, which under this administration, there are a lot of programs in place that are kind of making that difficult, i.e. Obamacare, which is what he was kind of getting to. But no, honestly, I think kind of, the biggest misstep of the Romney campaign was when he kind of went after Rick Perry on the topic of Social Security. I thought that remained the biggest gaffe. But some of these attacks that I've seen, I mean, they're kind of rehashes of some of the primary attacks and the Ted Kennedy attacks, too, way back in the 90s.
Jason.
You know, I actually think his worst gaffe was saying, I don't know much about NASCAR, but I have friends who own NASCAR teams. That's terrible. Not only is that offensive, I mean, he could have said like Jeff Burton, who's from South Boston, even if it's South Boston, Virginia. It showed that he didn't understand NASCAR. He doesn't understand his own constituency. He doesn't understand sports. And it re-demonstrates this idea that he's this sort of rich, old, patriarchal guy who doesn't understand regular people. That's the one that folks are going to remember. The $10,000 bet and, having the $15 million car garage, I don't think those are nearly as bad as not understanding NASCAR as a Republican.
Okay, on to question number 2.
Corpseman.
On to question number 2. A government study suggests federal spending is rising at the slowest pace since the early 1950s. A Market Watch columnist says the Obama spending binge you hear about so much never happened. Democrats are celebrating the news. Republicans are spinning it. Regardless, can President Obama overcome the belief that he's a big government spender? Jason.
I think he's got more of a problem overcoming the belief that he's doing a terrible job as president. I mean, the fact of the matter is, look, he's cut back on the budget, but what we've seen is one of the reasons why unemployment has stayed so high is because of cuts in government jobs on the state level. So I think Barack Obama is fine on the issue of spending. He needs to demonstrate that he can get people back to work. He needs to demonstrate that teachers and firemen at the local level can be hired. That's his biggest concern, not whether or not he's spending the budget deficit. We had that issue already with that sort of party they had out in Vegas.
Dana.
I'm not quite sure what facts that Market Watch columnist was looking at, because the CBO report that I just spoke about yesterday morning actually discussed how really spending is still at a historic high, and the CBO projects that even by 2017 spending is still going to be at a historic high. So you can't really look at some of these programs that the administration is coming out with and saying that they're cutting spending. This administration is a notorious spender, and the budget that was proposed was rejected by all of the Democrats in the Senate. There's that. We have a $15 trillion deficit that the president, again, according to the Congressional Budgetary Office, added $5 trillion to. These are big spending things that you can't spend.
Okay, on to question number 3. What did George Clooney and the former GOP presidential candidate Jon Huntsman have in common? Yes, they are both on the AARP's list of sexiest men over 50. Huntsman was just behind Clooney. Yes, John Hottie Huntsman. There's just something about that leather jacket. Is he the hippest dude in the conservative crowd? Dana, I pose that question to you.
Carol, I'm going to have to be honest. I did not know that the AARP had such a list. We're talking about the sexy peepaw list. That's basically what this list is. Wasn't quite aware that it existed. But, I have a new perspective on things now. I mean, Jon Huntsman, he's got nice hair. He's a nice-looking guy. I've met him. He's a very nice gentleman. I honestly don't know what to say to that.
He has nice hair. That's a ringing endorsement, Dana. Jason.
You know, my own assessment of what's sexy is probably not going to be as good as either yours, Dana or Carol. But, you know, the fact of the matter is there's plenty of other Republicans who are sexy. You got Aaron Schock. He was on the cover of Men Fitness. You know, you got your candidate up in Massachusetts. You know, I think Herman Cain was kind of sexy. That might have been one of the things that got him in trouble. So I think there's plenty of Republicans out there who might be sexier than John Huntsman.
Oh, that's good. Oh, that was an enjoyable question. Now, Jason, Dana, thanks for playing today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
First up.